Hey everybody, good energy to you guys. This is called Kinship With All Life by J. Allen Boone. Chapter 9, Desert Rat. He is known as a desert rat. The only name he has had for many years is Mojave Dan, but that is all he ever needs. He loves the desert and is constantly revealing to him its deeper secrets. His family consists of an assortment of dogs and burros. Often wild animals become temporary members. Dan has practically no social or economic standing, but he is rich in the kind of things that can never be taken away from him, now or in eternity. He's one of the freest men I've ever known. He has no obligations, no responsibilities, no cares, no fears, and no worries. When he needs supplies for his family and himself, he knows where to go to pan enough gold to pay for them. He never takes from the earth more gold than he is necessary for his modest requirements. He goes where he pleases when he pleases, and he does what he pleases in a way that pleases him to do it. Because of his unpredictable wandering habits, it is often difficult to locate Dan. The desert where he lives has an enormous spread, and he may be in any part of it. I very much wanted to get in touch with him because up to that time he was the only human I had ever personally known who could carry on silent two-way conversations with animals and really share ideas with them. Dan never reads books, magazines, or newspapers, never listens to the radio, never watches television, and seldom asks questions of other humans. Yet he is amazingly well informed at all times about practically everything that interests him, either nearby or afar. Excuse me. This information comes from his dogs and burros, from wild animals, from snakes, from insects, from birds, indeed from almost everything that crosses his tail. The real mystery was not so much Dan's ability to silently communicate his thoughts to the animal, but his capacity to understand when the animals spoke to him. I had, upon a number of occasions, tried to get Dan to tell me how he went about establishing such practical correspondence with non-human forms of life, but he would never do so. None of his other friends could get the secret out of him either. His reply to these requests was that such things were too intimate to talk about and could be acquired only through personal effort and real humility. I did not take Strongheart with me on that trip, much as I wanted him and Dan to know each other. The desert at that time of the year was much too hot for the big dog. Very reluctantly, I left him behind, which he did not approve of all. Strongheart is the name of the animal that this author has been put in charge of taking care of. He's actually a very famous dog. He's been in numerous movies back in the day, so I just want to fill you guys in on that. Arriving at a little desert town where Dan occasionally went to buy supplies, I found I was in luck. He had been there earlier in the day, and I was able to make a good guess at the spot in the desert he planned to spend the night. A few hours later, Dan and I were having supper together, companioned by his dog and burros, his old tent, a campfire in the desert. After the dishes had been washed and stowed away, Dan and I lay on our backs in command with the stars. In the clear atmosphere, they seemed very near. There had been little conversation between Dan and me during the preparation of the meal or while eating. Dan goes in for such things, even with his friends, as little as possible. He believes the atmosphere. He is a strict observer of the ancient desert rule that if you cannot improve on the desert silence, then you should keep your mouth shut. But I thought there was some excuse for a certain amount of talking on this occasion. I had a major problem in human-animal relationships and had come a long distance to ask Dan's advice. I told him how Strongheart and I happened to be living together. I told him of the difficulty I was having in getting at the real truths about the big dog, and I asked him what he thought I should do next. There was no response at all from Dan, just the desert silence, a silence so intense that it was rather disturbing to my city sound accustomed ears. Patiently, I waited and waited and waited, but not a sound or a movement did my friend make. One of two things seemed to have happened. Either what I had said did not interest him, or he had gone to sleep. Much more time elapsed. Finally, Dan yawned and stretched. Then he spoke, aiming his words at the stars. "There's facts about dogs," he said, "and there's opinions about them. The dogs have the facts, and the humans have the opinions. If you want facts about a dog, always get them straight from the dog. If you want opinions, get them from the humans." A real expert on human-animal relationship had spoken. Having done so, he rolled over on his side and this time definitely went to sleep. In those few words, Dan had given me just the help I needed. He had shown me clearly where I had been making my basic mistake in the strong heart situation. I had I had consulted almost every kind of an authority I could find about Strongheart except Strongheart himself. As the sun rose over the distant desert horizon line the following morning, I headed back to Hollywood in Strongheart. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy right there is Strongheart. So alright, yeah, hope you guys are doing alright. Love you guys. Bye.